nothing wrong in praising Sonia, the manner in which Revant did. All right, we're getting some breaking news now. In fact, visuals coming in from Maldives. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, remember, is in Maldives after a successful visit to UK where the FTA was signed. The Prime Minister is now in Maldives. These are visuals coming in from Maldives. He's on a two-day visit to the island nation. Prime Minister was invited by the Maldivian President Mohamed Muizzu to be a guest of honor at the 60th Independence Day celebrations. This moment also marks 60 years of diplomatic relations between India and Maldives. Apart from this, on agenda is a bilateral with President Muizzu. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be inaugurating several India-assisted projects. At the moment, the Prime Minister is witnessing this cultural performance. To my colleague Rishabh, who's joining us on the broadcast with more details. Rishabh, these are live visuals coming in from Maldives. It was Mohamed Muizzu who invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi to be the guest of honor. Tell us more about the significance of this moment. Of course, the focus is going to be on strengthening the relationship even more now.
Well, more than strengthening the relationship, reset of diplomatic ties between India and Maldives is something that is on display right now. We have seen how in 2023 and 2024, things didn't go down, really well between Malé and New Delhi. We have seen objectionable comments coming in from the Maldivian member of Maldivian government as well. Two or three ministers were also punished for that. And the way things started happening, be it social media, be it diplomatically as well, things literally went downhill since Muizzu came to power in September 2023 till the mid of 2024. Then came the date of 4th of June 2023. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was taking oath for the third time. And along with the other neighboring countries, President Muizzu was also invited to Delhi. And that's when India and Maldives decided that enough, let's get the ship back on track. India has assisted not only, giving the credit lines or other infrastructures, but also to remain the first responder for Maldives for years now. And the way things have started happening in between India and Maldives has now very clearly shown that India will remain the first responder for Maldives, and that's the reason that we are seeing such scenes now coming in from Malé, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is being formally welcomed in Maldives. He is guest of honor for the Independence Day. So within a span of 18 to 20 months, India's Maldives ships saw a downhill and then now an upward trajectory. A diplomatic reset is what we are witnessing right now.
Right. So a diplomatic reset in relationships is what we are witnessing. It's definitely a turnaround in India-Maldives relations, Rishabh.
Definitely. See, what will we see today? We'll see inaugurations of infrastructure projects that India has assisted Maldives in. And when we say India has assisted, India is very clear that we do not have any right over these infrastructure. These infrastructure belongs to Maldives. India has only helped Maldives to build these, to empower the island country. Then we also expect, this is not yet confirmed, but many sources who are close to the dealing of Malé and New Delhi suggest that we might have a debt rollover as well. India might give a debt rollover to Maldives as well, and that will be a sigh of relief for Maldives, given that their loan repayments are actually a problem for the island country. So apart from credit line, a debt rollover is something that is very, very big, means a lot for Malé. And if that happens, Maldives will definitely be thankful to India. Apart from that, talking about other issues, hydrographic, surveys, or for that matter, usage of Maldivian ports by certain countries against Indian interests, all these will be on table. And both the countries are expected to discuss on those lines as well. Prime Minister, as guest of honor at the Independence Day, is in Malé, and the diplomatic reset is on the display.
Absolutely. Rishabh, stay on with us. Let's focus on the visuals for a bit. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Maldives on a 2-day visit, and the Prime Minister has been invited to be the guest of honor, the chief guest for the nation's 60th Independence Day celebrations. All right, we have Pathikrit Payne joining us on the broadcast, foreign affairs expert. A reset, a turnaround in India-Maldives relations, is that how you see it?
Well, I think, this is probably a realization on the part of Maldives that it makes absolutely no sense to use their platform or country for anti-India activities, because eventually when you are living in the proximity of a country like India, you would have to have good relations, which is in mutual benefit. And invariably for countries like Maldives, which is dependent on tourism, it absolutely makes no sense. Unfortunately, many of the smaller countries fall in the trap of, China, who actually entices them to, with all kinds of lucrative offers. Eventually, there are hidden, elements of this, offers, which puts them in a debt trap. And once they realize that this entire so-called honeymoon is of completely a short period, then once the realization dawns in, they realize that India eventually is their better friend. It happened in such a manner in the case of Sri Lanka as well, because India was the only country which went forward and helped Sri Lanka when it was in deep financial crisis. It went ahead and helped in all the way, and similarly it is for Maldives. So, India is not a country which wants to colonize Maldives. India is not a country which expects Maldives not to have any relation with any other country. They can have relation with China as well, but India's only expectation has been that do not allow your land to be used by China against India. And I think that is something that Maldives should have realized long time back. This turnaround is probably not, I'm not going to say that it's going to be a new chapter, because things can go bad again anytime. The only thing is that India has shown tremendous maturity, and that maturity is being reflected in the way they realize that India cannot be dispensed of.
Okay. Mr. Payne, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast with your perspective. We have Dunya Momun joining us on the broadcast, former Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Maldives. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on Times Now. Your first response, how do you look at the moment that we are witnessing, the significance of all of it?
Yes, I think it's a very important visit, and obviously I am one who supports a frank and open, trusting relationship between our two countries. Saying that, I know in the past we have seen many changes in terms of the trust between the countries. I want to acknowledge that India has supported Maldives at critical timings, and as we all know, currently we are facing, our economy is not in a good situation. We know, though, there is no free lunch, and we know that whilst I have no accusation that India is trying to colonize Maldives, but I believe that Maldives needs to stand on its own 2 feet. Maldives needs to strengthen its economy, and of course we can get the support of our friends, but ultimately it is up to our leaders and our people to make sure that our country survives the challenges that we are facing, that we do not come under influence in a way that compromises our sovereignty of either India, China, or the US, or any country at that matter. So that is how I see this. It's a significant visit, and I hope that the discussions go well. I hope, though, that India respects the fact that Maldives is an independent country and that we wish to make our own choices in going ahead.
Absolutely. In fact, you were one of those people who spoke against the disrespect when those comments were made in 2023 that led to diplomatic strains between India and Maldives.
Yes, I do condemn it, and I condemn it again. I think diplomacy, the respect between our countries and between our leaders is of utmost importance. I was very disappointed to see that the government of President Muizzu paid only lip service to firing the individuals who had been disrespectful, and I think our diplomatic service definitely deserves also needs to be much more professional in how we act and our language that we use. And this is very important to us. Respect is necessary, and this works both ways. So I was ashamed as a Maldivian to see what was happening at that time. At present, I am still concerned. I am happy to see the visit, but I hope that we do see our leaders and our country going ahead in the right way. And it is the politics that is dividing us often, and this is the international politics being played because our country is in a strategic location. So my message for today definitely would be that Maldivian leaders, we need to really be serious in terms of making sure that our economy, we do not go into debt, that we're able to survive this and go ahead while doing the necessary measures like cutting costs and cutting wastage.
All right, Ms. Mamoon, thank you very much for speaking with us. Let me also go across to my colleague Rishabh, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Rishabh, you just heard Ms. Mamoon, who spoke about the strain in relations between both India and Maldives, and she in fact was one of those who spoke against the disrespect and emphasized on, the importance of having a strong relations with a country like India. Perhaps there is a sense of realization, like Pathikrit Payne was pointing out.
See, there are two things here. We also need to understand the domestic politics of Maldives as well. President did come on the plank of anti-India campaign. India Out campaign was the center of focus when it comes to, the campaign for Muizzu when he was contesting for presidential election. Till the Majlis election took place sometime in February and March, that till then Muizz's party was not in majority in Majlis, and he did understand back then. Now when we look at the hindsight, that he did understand back then that if this India Out campaign can win him the presidential election, the India Out campaign taken forward might help him in Majlis as well. And that actually happened. Now Muizz's party is in majority in Majlis as well, and Muizz is well settled when it comes to the power setup of the island country. That's when he understood that now is the time to look the other aspects of the relationship, and that's when the softening of stance took place, and we saw him coming to India for the inauguration, for the oath taking of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third term. Then we saw him coming in for a state visit as well to India. He invited Prime Minister for the Independence Day, which New Delhi graciously accepted. That is underway as we are talking. So the reset that we are seeing is basically the foreign policy of Maldives that now is independent of his domestic politics. The domestic politics front has been achieved by Mohamed Muizzu, and then now he is resetting the ties to ensure that other issues that the country has, be it the debt, be it the credit line, be it the defense, or for that matter infrastructure development in the country. For that, Muizzu always knew that India will always be the first responder, and that's the reason that he took his time to address the domestic politics, and once that was done, he is now in a spot where he's okay to share stage with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's okay to praise India, thank India, and for that matter, India is also very clear that Maldives is a neighboring country which we have had century-old ties, and we would like to have. Let's see it
for a bit, Rishabh. Focus on the period when we saw deterioration in relations between India and Maldives. So, how did the relations deteriorate? In 2023, Muizzu advocated India Out campaign. 3 ministers made derogatory remarks for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Maldivian ambassador was summoned by the MEA. In 2024, 37%. There was a drop of 37% in Indian visitors due to boycott Maldives campaign. Muizzu told India to withdraw its troops as well. And Muizzu's China tilt, in fact, divided polity and society. Let's also take a look at the diplomatic thought. Before that,